15 down, 2 to go for the Dallas Cowboys as they have already wrapped up an NFC East title with their win over the Washington football team. They improved to 11-4 as we welcome you into Special Edition. Alongside Barry Church and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. The Cowboys have playoff seeding still to play for in the final 2 weeks of the regular season, and the Arizona Cardinals come to town here in Week 17. But, gentlemen, let's start by looking at that Washington win. 56-14. A dominant beatdown of one of their divisional rivals, and they are now 5-0 in the NFC East. The crown is theirs here in 2021. But what impressed you the most about the big-time win?
What impressed me the most about this huge win over a division opponent was how consistent they were offensively. I mean, these guys were out there, whether it's the pass, whether it's the run, the offensive line, they were all playing as a unit out there and exerting their will on the Washington football team. And you can't have a more complete win than that in this regular season.
I'm excited because Barry's excited.
Yes.
I mean, wow. But what I liked about it, man, is the offensive line found a rhythm. We had a good running game early in the first half. Dak found his rhythm, and that's all we needed. As long as we can dominate 32 minutes or more of time and possession, this defense is going to wreak havoc.
Yeah, the Cowboys offensively scored a touchdown. Defense and special teams each got themselves 1-2. First time since 2012 the Cowboys have achieved that feat. All 3 units playing a big-time impact. But let's talk about the offense. First off, nearly 500 total yards of offense. They sustained long drives over and over. What was the most encouraging part about the offensive performances? It looks like they're back on track.
Yeah, Dak and this offense definitely shook off any type of slump I thought they had going into this game. Dak Prescott was extremely efficient out there, 28-39, 4 touchdowns. And Kellen Moore, he made an emphasis on getting Amari Cooper the ball early and often. He had 11 targets, 7 receptions, and a touchdown as well. But what impressed me the most about this victory was their efficiency in the red zone. They were 6 of 6 in the red zone. And as this season dwindles down, especially when the playoffs come around, if you're that efficient down there, you're going to win a lot of football games.
I agree with you 100%, Barry. You have to continue to throw Amari Cooper the ball because he is a guy that can direct coverage. He can tell you whether it's going to be a safety over the top or an outside linebacker sliding out to him. And when you do that right there, and Zeke finding his sea legs and Pollard coming back doing what he needs to do, everything's going to be all right in the red zone.
One of the biggest knocks in the red zone, I guess, inefficiency is the way you could talk about it early on, is the fact that, well, you didn't have the right play calling. You weren't able to figure it out. Well, Terrence Steele ended up with a touchdown grab in the game. Offensive tackle Terrence Steele. So if that's not creative play calling, then I don't know what is. And you mentioned third down, 10 of 15. Those two things together, paired, the red zone and the third down efficiency, are something that this offense could really build on moving forward. Talking about building on, how about the defense, though? Continuing to build on their past performances. They had 3 straight games with 4 takeaways. They had another couple in this one, including Trayvon Diggs, his 11th interception of the year. Can they keep up this pace?
Without a doubt, I think they can keep up this pace. I mean, this defense out there, they've shown that they can take the football away with the best of them out there. And the coverage out there was extremely sticky the entire game. They held Terry McLaurin to 3 receptions for 40 yards. And a lot of those receptions came after it was a blowout. And once again, this defense proved that why they're the #1 defense on third down, holding Washington to 3 of 13 out there. So to me, this defense and these players, they have the right mentality and the right coaching to be a problem for any offense they may come across.
It was Diggs and it was Parsons. And that's who we were the first 6-7 games. Now we have D-Law back. We have Gallimore back. We have Randy Gregory wrecking havoc. Who do we not have wrecking havoc? Everybody's getting on this thing and having a great time. And you know what? Javon Curse is showing up bigger and bigger each game. This defense is ready and sound.
Yeah, this defense continues to play exceptional football. I mean, you look at the turnovers, the touchdown. DeMarcus Lawrence not only had the interception, but he took it all the way back to the house, pretty much one-upping what Randy Gregory did in his interception back in Week 14 against the Washington football team. That defense has been answering all the doubters all year long, but the offense has had some more doubters along the way, at least over the last couple of weeks. But did Dak Prescott silence the doubters, and did he answer all the questions about the struggling offense when we come back with more Special Edition?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the new Gym 7 scratch tickets. There's a Gym 7 scratch ticket for everyone, so play today.
Did Dak Prescott's 320 passing yards and 4 passing touchdowns in the first half of the Washington game in Week 16 answer all the questions surrounding the Cowboys offense? Well, to answer that question, we bring in Isaiah Stanback, former NFL quarterback and Super Bowl champion. Isaiah, did Dak Prescott help silence some of the doubters in terms of this Cowboys offense with his performance against Washington?
I believe so, Kyle. I think the Dak that showed up on Sunday was definitely a different Dak. And obviously that comes in, there's a whole lot of aspects that play a part in that. I believe that the running game, the presence of the running game played a huge integral part of it, with over 100 yards on the ground between Zeke and Pollard. The play action, the resurgence of the play action was very important. We talked about that in the pregame live show prior to the game. And they had 30% of the passes on Sunday came in the form of play action. So that played a huge role in getting back on track. And then when you look at the play action's role in actually initiating some points, 50% of the touchdowns that came on the back of Dak Prescott came in the form of play action. So this offense got things rolling, and Dak obviously played a huge part in that.
Now, how much did his ability to use his legs really help open things up from a play calling standpoint and help out offensive coordinator Kellen Moore?
It's something that he's needed to do all year long, and he's been hesitant to for whatever reason. Obviously, we can point towards the previous ankle injury as something that had been prohibiting him from wanting to cross the line of scrimmage in that regard. But we saw how beneficial it was to the offense when he actually did utilize his legs. He crossed the line of scrimmage. He picked up 4 or 5 yards of pop. He moved the chains, and that's what allows this offense to continue to move down the field. That's what keeps the ball in Kellen Moore's hands and allows him to try to find more ways for this offense to score points.
Now, with that being said, do you feel like this could continue into the final 2 regular season games and then also into the playoffs as well?
Absolutely, I do. I do believe that this Arizona team is going to present a huge challenge for the Dallas Cowboys, though, in the form of they're a top 10 defense in the NFL. They're also up there in the top half of the league in terms of turnovers. So Dak is going to be tested in that regard. But I believe that this team is built to be able to dominate a team like Arizona. They're smaller. They are relatively quick. But I think that the personnel that Dallas Cowboys bring to the table is just going to be too much for Arizona to handle. And then as you look forward towards Philadelphia, they're just struggling.
Yeah, they definitely are. And starting to find the rhythm a little bit, but that defensive side, if they're going up against an offense like the Cowboys, well, they're going to have some troubles as well. As Isaiah Stanback joining us here on Special Edition. When we come back, how about Kyler Murray, the DFW product, returns home, and who is he bringing with him? That's a big threat for the Cowboys.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you.
As far as Kyler Murray, just tremendous talent. I mean, you think the way he plays the game of football, from the quarterback position, he's dynamic, both in the pocket, out of the pocket, so quick and fast, and twitchy with his decision making. So it's a dynamic offense, and it's definitely a big threat when he comes in here Sunday.
That is just a snippet of the respect that the Dallas Cowboys coaching staff has for this Arizona Cardinals team, and Kyler Murray specifically, the DFW product, and his Cardinals have lost 3 straight games, but they started 7-0, and they still have plenty of challenges for this Cowboys team moving in to the Week 17 matchup. And let's start with Kyler Murray and what he's brought to the table, not only as a passer, but as a runner as well. That dual threat ability is challenging, but the way he's developed as a passer, Barry, is scary for most defense.
Yeah, Kyler Murray is a whole different type of beast. I mean, by far, he'll be the best quarterback we've gone against in these last 5 games. He has a great ability to extend plays out there and escape the pocket, and he also has all all the arm strength and all the arm talent to make the throws out there necessary to do it. So to me, this defense is going to have to lock in. They're going to have to focus and really set edges out there and keep this guy in the pocket, because if not, he has the ability to escape the pocket and he can hurt our defense deep in the passing game.
And Barry, you don't want to give him two ways to go, because if you let him get outside and he starts making things happen out there, then he breaks container, he starts running. Now you don't know how to handle it. So what you have to do is just stay disciplined in your lanes. Come up at him through the middle. Press him out to the outside, but while the same way setting your edges. And if you can make him throw the ball to win the game, then we just have to take our hats off to him.
Well, and he finds a way to win on the road as well. 7-1 on the road this year are the Arizona Cardinals. But what about the guys he's throwing to? That man right there you just saw, DeAndre Hopkins, not available again. So where does the production come from, Barry Church, when you look at guys like Christian Kirk, A.J. Green, and Zach Ertz on that passing game?
Well, this offense is nowhere near as dangerous without DeAndre Hopkins, but you can't sleep on that trio, because Zach Ertz, he's a crafty tight end who can get open versus man or zone coverage, and the combination of Green and Kirk is your classic possession receiver and deep threat receiver with immense talent. And then you throw a guy like Kyler Murray in there who can make all the throws. This offense still has the potential to be an explosive deal for these Cowboys.
I'm just so nervous about tight ends. I think we got to jam him, even if we have to give up one of our rushes at a time, jam Ertz up real well, and I think we can maintain the other guys with our two corners. So the big stop is Ertz.
Yeah, this Arizona passing attack, just 4 touchdowns through the air in the last 5 games. But, Nate, there are 2 guys in the backfield, too, that have a ton of success. And James Conner, Chase Edmonds, who's more dangerous between these two?
Edmonds is the man. He can catch the ball. He's like the third leading receiver, since the other guy's out. He's big time, and you have to look out for him. James Conner, he's your guy that you look out for in the red zone. But all over the field, this Chase Edmonds guy is dynamite.
Yeah, these two got a little thunder and lightning thing going on over there in Arizona. Both of these guys can run the football well, especially James Conner, who has 14 rushing touchdowns on the season. But what makes me nervous about this combination is these guys are both good receivers out of the backfield. James Conner has 31 receptions. Chase Edmonds has 38 receptions out there. So what our linebackers are going to have to do is they're going to have to realize where these guys are at all times, because they can be a threat in the passing game as well.
And then what about the defensive side of the football as well? I mean, this might be one of the more underrated defenses in all of football. They're a top 10 defense in multiple categories.
Yeah, they're definitely a top 10 defense, but this Arizona defense has been getting picked apart in these last couple games. But what this matchup boils down to me is, how is this offensive line going to be able to handle Chandler Jones and Budda Baker? Now, Chandler Jones is one of the best pass rushers in all of football right now, and their defense, Arizona, loves to blitz Budda Baker out there just so he can cause havoc in the backfield. So our offensive line is definitely going to have to know where these two guys are at all times, because they can be game breakers.
And our running backs have to be set too. They have to know where Budda Baker is. They have to know that they can Vance Joseph, the defensive coordinator, will find a way to blitz.
Yeah, he's always going to be one of those guys that has fun trying to scheme up against an offense, much like the Dallas Cowboys. He has a lot of fun on the road as well. This defense averaging over 2.5 takeaways per game away from home. So much to their success they've had on the road this year, it's been because of the defense. But there's been a lot of success around that man, Jalen Kearse. Who will he be matched up against this season? And what other matchup should you be watching come Sunday afternoon?
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
It's the 46th all-time meeting between the Cowboys and the Cardinals, and it's a Wild West shootout between two of the top offenses in the game right now. Barry Church, Nate Newton, and let's take a look at some of the best matchups on the docket come Sunday, because there are plenty of them across the board. This is going to be one of the most watched games, I think, of the entire NFL season. But, Nate, we'll start with you on this one. What is your matchup that you feel like the Cowboys need to take advantage of?
Chandler Jones. We have to find a way to stop him. He's going to go up and down our offensive line trying to find a weak link. Right now we're playing well. We will get Tyron Smith back, so we're going to be pretty solid up there. But if he gets off early, then that will give Coach Vance Joseph a chance to start implementing his blitz scheme. So if we can maintain him, we should be okay.
Arizona has only allowed 5 rushing touchdowns against running backs this year. That's the least amount in the entire NFL. So, Barry, your matchup as well, I mean, is it back on that offensive side of the football?
It's on their offensive side of the football, and what I got to say is the matchup we got is a guy I talked about earlier, Zach Ertz, one of these crafty tight ends versus our very own J-Ron Kearse. Now, this is going to be a tough matchup because Zach Ertz, he reminds me of Witten a lot. He's not very athletic. He's not the fastest guy out there, but he seems to get open no matter what the situation is. He's very crafty in his routes. So what Kearse is going to have to do, he's going to have to get up in his grill. He's going to have to use those long arms, jam him up at the line of scrimmage, and throw off that timing between him and Kyler Murray. But Kyle, this should definitely be an extreme matchup that you should keep your eye on.
70 receptions, 700 yards, and I don't even know what the touchdown total is. But all of that only against Dallas in Zach Ertz's career. This is the first time the Cowboys have faced him as an Arizona Cardinal previously. So
he didn't do that to me.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't do that to me. Just wanted to make sure he didn't do that to Barry Church. Yeah. All right, guys, keys to the game outside of your matchups. What do you think the Cowboys have to do to take advantage and win?
I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball, and we've got to make sure we keep this guy in the pocket. I know Kyler Murray is electric, he's explosive, and I know he can throw the ball from anywhere, even the pocket. But I'd rather have this guy stay in the pocket and use his arm to beat us from there than to go out there and extend plays and be able to beat us deep. So we got to keep this guy in the pocket. Defensive ends, set edges out there.
It's all about the third down situation. Stay ahead of the chains, and when you get into the red zone, make sure you come away with 6 instead of 3. If we can do this right here and put them on their heels, we should be okay.
That was a struggle really the last month and a half for the Cowboys offense, and they were able to rectify that a little bit in Week 16 against Washington. But can they keep that going against the Arizona Cardinals coming up this Sunday? But also coming up, we're going to pay tribute to a legend. The NFL mourns the loss of John Madden. We talk about his legacy when we come back on Special Edition.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
My man Nate gets a little run at him. Anytime Nate puts that 330 pounds on you, you're going to go backwards. I mean, just get behind Nate. I mean, he just blots out half the field. Yeah. You know, what you could do is you could have a barbecue on that head.
Nate's got a lot of room to let it out.
Yeah. I mean, you could cook like some burgers on there. That's Big Nate. Right there. Boom. Boy, Nate just took his guy and just boom, just put him right on the ground. They go Nate. You see Nate Newton? Here's Big Nate right here. And then the minute it's over, you got to pull the pants up. You always block, and then you pull up your pants.
Oh, you always got to love watching it. I could watch that all day long. The legendary voice of John Madden breaking down our very own Nate Newton. And Nate, you were one of John's favorites, and the respect was vice versa. You had the utmost respect for John Madden. Passed away on Tuesday at the age of 85. And guys, I mean, it's hard to find an individual like John Madden, who has touched the lives of so many football fans as an innovator, a coach, a broadcaster. I mean, he had an impact on almost every fan of the game's lives.
Yeah, he truly brought me into the game. You know, I wasn't born yet, so I couldn't appreciate him as a coach. But when he was out there and I was watching it as a young kid, he really brought me into the game with his commentary, just how he would break down the game. You know, it wasn't about, you know, we're going to bring this guard over here, pulling guard. And he wasn't talking about schemes and 4-3s and different stunts and stuff like that. He broke it down so a kid can understand it. Basically, all right, they're taking Nate Newton here. They're going to bring him around here so he can get up through the gap. And Emmitt Smith, they're going to hand him the football. They made it very simple for us. And he's a legend. And I'm just, you know, rest in peace to a great man in John Madden.
Man, I love Coach Madden, man. I met him in New York Stadium, man, in the old Giant Stadium, and he said, I spoke to him, how you doing, Coach Madden? And he said, what's up, Nate Newton? I mean, nobody had never done that, a man of that stature. And from that day on, he started talking about me, around me, and the things that I'd done, and he made me, man. And he's everything to me. But the thing about him, from his players when he coached all the way to now he's all Madden, he will never be forgotten. He's John Madden. He's the greatest man I know, man. He helped make Nate who he is, and I love you, Coach, and I hope you and your family the best.
Yeah, it really is. It's sad, and the NFL is going to mourn the loss of John Madden for years to come as he's gone at the age of 85. We wrap things up here on Special Edition with a moment of silence and remembering John Madden and his legacy and his love for the game of football.